Hi, welcome to SVR Sports Picks. I'm Peter Loshak. This is the Into the Weekend with Bet DSI show for the last of the college bowls. Today is Friday, December 30th, and we're going to talk with Brent from Bet DSI, the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook, just about the notable action that he's seen from the last bowls, the 8 bowls on Saturday, December 31st, and then January 2nd. Brent, thanks so much for being back with us. First, let's just touch on the two college football playoff semifinal games. First of all, Washington and Alabama. The line hasn't moved that much, but I don't know, maybe you did get some sharp action that was offset by deep-pocketed public action. What can you tell us about Washington and Alabama?
It's interesting with this game in that, I mean, if you look back at the opening number, you could say, the line hasn't moved much.
Yeah.
But if you look at the anatomy of this number in terms of how it's moved all the way up until the point we are today, it has moved quite a bit in that we opened this number at 15. Right, as of today, we're sitting at Alabama minus 14, minus 15. So it hasn't moved a whole lot if you look at that. But I mean, over the, once that line opened up, it just climbed up gradually with a whole lot of, sort of deep pocket Alabama money and public Alabama money as well. Now, you kind of figured that Alabama was going to be the public side, but it seemed like, 14 and a half was a number that was going to be, low enough that the public was going to bet it, that you weren't giving too much weight to the Sharps. Now, that number climbed all the way to 17. I don't know if you remember that, and it's climbed up to 17. Yeah. Then it started coming back down. We got our first, kind of like pseudo-sharp hit on Washington plus 15 and a half. That came down to all the way down to 14 and a half. We got another plus 14 and a half hit from another sharp guy, and then we have yet a third sharp guy involved on Washington as well, plus 14 even money. So
wow.
As of yesterday, we were actually 13 and a half on Alabama. Now we're back up to 14 and 14 minus 115. So I have 3 different sharps involved in this, just the side, and they're all on Washington. Now, if I look at my wager count, it's almost like 2-1, even when you factor in all the parlays and teasers and everything like that. It's 2-1, almost 3-1, just straight bets favoring Alabama. So I've got a lot of public money and a lot of deep pocket money on Alabama. When I look at my dollar value on this game, especially in straights, it's almost dead even. So it's a good spot for us in that. It looks as of right now that we're going to need Washington small, and we're going to be with the Sharps. The total, I mean, this one as well. The total, I did get sharp action on this total. I mean, it dropped quite a bit, and unfortunately for us, it's just a whole lot of sharp money on the under. So maybe not a great spot for us. And the line, it's moved a whole lot. I mean, 58 is where it opened up, and that's really where the first big, sharp guy came in. But we did take max bets, from there. We went all the way down to 56 and a half. Another, decent bet, we went down to 55 and a half, like full point moves down to 54 and a half, and now we're sitting at 53. The public bets the over, and they're betting the over on this one. My wager count actually favors the over, so I actually have, quite almost twice as many bets on the over on money because it's bigger bets, all one-sided on the under. So we definitely, need some money coming back on the over from the public. Hopefully drive this back up a little bit, but still we're sitting at, quite a spot where we moved quite a bit. Like I said, it was from 58, we went straight to 56 and a half, down to 55 and a half. So we took some big jumps down, but clearly I do have sharp action on the under 58. Great number if you can get it, but you can't get it now. And Alabama, clearly the sharp side from the 3 different guys who came in on that.
Right, you mean Washington's a sharp side from 3 different guys who came in.
Sorry, yeah,
right.
I said Alabama. Yeah, sorry, Washington. Yeah, it was plus 15 and a half, plus 14 and a half, and then plus 14 even money, all on Washington.
So it's interesting that none of those guys, though, grabbed it when it was all the way up to 17, though.
Yeah, no, and people always ask that question. Well, if they liked it at 14 and a half, why didn't they grab it at 17? It's like, well, maybe they thought they were going to go higher. Who knows? Maybe were they waiting for injury information? Who knows? And this is, I'm just going to throw this idea out there. But every now and then, players get suspended in these bowl games. It has happened in the past. So I've heard it. So I've read about it. So there's all those kind of reasons. Maybe they're weather related stuff. I mean, obviously this game's not going to be weather related, but I mean, all those kind of things had to factor in a decision. And it's also, sharps generally don't have a problem managing the bankroll, but still, if you want to fire like a max wager on a game like this, you do kind of have to look at your funds as well. So there's various reasons for it and stuff like that. And again, maybe someone's waiting for a number to go up, and once they see it, starting going down, it's like, oh shit, I got to jump in now.
All right. Thanks for that awesome breakdown, Brent. And then the next second game, Ohio State and Clemson. Appears that there has been some small money coming in on Clemson. Small move. It was a 3 earlier, and now it's sort of down to 2 or 2.5, although there's still a few 3s market wide. What can you tell us about Ohio State Clemson?
Yeah, I mean, the first sharp bet we took on this really was close to the opener was on Clemson at plus 3.5. Yesterday, the line had gone down, and we took another, like we're talking a list guy as well on Clemson +3 -120.
Wow.
So as of today, we're actually sitting at 2.5 on Ohio State. So this number, if you look at the from the 3.5, I mean, actually was a little bit higher, when this thing opened up. So it has moved, from the 3.5. And again, you've got a little bit of, public money involved on the other side in terms of Ohio State, which you kind of expect. So my chart in terms of the actual number of wagers involved, almost dead even. So that's not bad for us at all. My money definitely favors Clemson, though. So I got those, the deep pocket sharp guys coming in on Clemson. So like I said, the first guy was +3.5, and he's what I'm going to call a pseudo sharp, but very sharp bet was on Clemson +3 -120, and now we're sitting at 2.5. The total of this game, we're sitting at 59. I don't think we had to move a whole lot on this one. Just I've got more money on the under, I got more bets on the over, but I don't think there's anything really really sharp on the under. Just bigger bets that came in on the under, kind of like we might call it a pseudo sharp guy on the under 61.5. We're sitting at 59 right now. So yeah, I could see this one maybe climbing up a little bit more just because my wager count on the over is almost like 3-1. But clearly Clemson the sharp side.
All right, so clear list action on both of the college football playoff games. Interesting, Brent. Then we got 6 other bowl games on Saturday and Monday. Have you taken any notable action on any of those 6?
Yeah, I mean, the LSU line, is creeping up a little bit. And I did get, I want to mention I got what I'm going to call pseudo-sharp action back on Louisville, which was at +3 -05. We're actually LSU -3 -120 right now. But it's just, I've just got more dollar volume on LSU, almost twice as much money on LSU, even though my wager count's pretty much even. So, that doesn't, the bigger dollar volume and bigger bets doesn't necessarily indicate that someone's sharp, just that they have they have the money to pull the trigger on games like this. Just the total, just to touch on, no surprise, we're sitting at 59.5, and I've got more bets on the over, more money on the over, but nothing, particularly sharp on that one at all. Drop down to, I'm just going to touch on all these, Kentucky and Georgia Tech. This is probably the least wagered game on the board right now. We've got obviously that, Alabama, Washington is huge volume, Clemson's, right behind it. But this game, there's just not a whole lot of action on it at all. We're sitting at Georgia Tech -3.5 versus Kentucky, but nothing sharp involved at all on the side. The total, I've got some kind of like bigger bets, if you want to call it, on the over. So this is why that one's gone from like 60 up to the 62.5 as it is right now. Wager count almost 3-1 favoring the over as well. But again, just public money there. Dropping down to Iowa and Florida, I do have sharp action on this game, and that came in on Iowa plus the 3.5. So Iowa is a sharp side there. Pretty much just the one sharp on involved on that side. No sharp money the other way on Florida though. So Iowa the sharp side there. Looking at my wager count, it's almost dead even, maybe slightly favors Florida, but not by much. My money's almost like 2-1 favoring Iowa because of the the deeper pocket sharp money that came in. Total hasn't moved at all, basically sitting at 40.5. Western Michigan, Wisconsin side, not a whole lot. It's just kind of crept up a little bit from like a 7.5 and 8.5 on Wisconsin, and that's basically just on money. My dollar volume is almost like 3-1 favoring Wisconsin. My wager count almost 3-1 as well. So nothing sharp involved on that side. I did take sharp action on the under this one. It came at under 53. We're sitting at 52.5 right now, so I did get sharp action on that, under 53.5 the total. A wager count there, almost like 2-1 favoring the over, no surprise. USC and Penn State, sharp money on both sides on that one. Kind of like we'll call it pseudo sharp. And with 6.5 that they laid on USC, line crept up and they grabbed. Or earlier was on Penn State plus 7.5. So we're sitting USC -7, -115 right now. I do have more dollar volume, almost like 3-1 favoring USC. So that's why our number kind of is slightly tilted towards USC. But it was sharp money both ways, -6.5 and Penn State plus 7.5. So we're sitting at 7 instead of being 7 flat. We're 7 -15 because more bets and more money on USC. Let me just take a look at the total here. Again, no surprise in the fact that I've got almost like 3-1 the wager count in terms of bets favoring the over. This one, the total hasn't moved a whole lot on this one, unfortunately. It's kind of like bounced between 63.5 down to 62 and got kind of sharp money all the way in between. It's just still got more dollar volume on the under, so we're sitting at 59.5 right now. But, I would expect kind of, public money still come in on the over there as they tend to do with USC. And the last game, Auburn, I'm not sure if we touched on them before, but Auburn was sharp. Auburn +3 even money. So that was a definite sharp side there. This line is crept down quite a bit, but the sharp list action that did come in on Auburn +3 even money. My wager count here favors Oklahoma, almost we'll call it 3-1 favoring Oklahoma, and the total is same thing, about 4-1 favoring the over in terms of the number of bets, but nothing sharp involved on the total. But Auburn definitely a sharp side there, Peter.
All right, Brent from Bet DSI. Thanks so much again. Brent is the headlines manager at DSI Sportsbook. Thanks, Brent.
Go to SBRodds.com. Browse, compare, and shop live odds available at top online sportsbooks.